Broadly speaking, there are three parts to what God is doing about evil. If you want to understand them, then you must be willing to listen to God, believe what he tells you, and you must act upon it. If you do, God is longing to meet you. For the eyes of the Lord search the whole earth in order to strengthen those whose hearts are fully committed to him.
For the joy of the Lord is my strength in my time of need.
To limit the effects of evil, God has given us those kinds of love that still work on the purely human level, given us a sense of right and wrong, given us a sense of justice, given us a conscience, given us wisdom and common sense. To limit the effects, God has also given us communities that applaud what we do well and react negatively when we go astray. He has given us governments, he has given us our laws, and given us his own commandments. But these are all merely stopgaps. They push things in a positive direction, but they're not perfect instruments. For example, even if God's own law were obeyed to the very last letter, and let's face it, that isn't going to happen, it wouldn't put an end to evil even though we might not have to lock our doors anymore. The rot at the core of the universe would still be there all the same. So much for the stopgap. The next thing God has done is take the consequences of evil upon himself. God has taken it like a man. He himself has stepped into our world in the person of Jesus and let all the outworkings of evil happen to him instead of me and you. When Jesus took up the cross, God let all the results of evil fall upon himself instead of me and you. And it was for your sake he did it. God was taking what should have happened to you and let it happen to him instead. So take it personally. You have every right to. He took your punishment for you. He did it for you. And he did it for you because only his shoulders are big enough to bear the burden. Only God has the capacity to shoulder the suffering and wrong of everyone and anyone who ever lived. And because the worst consequence of evil was that we were separated from God, separation had to happen to him also.
As heaven looked away, the Son of God was laid in dark.
Now, taking sin upon himself meant taking upon himself the very, very opposite of his unending love. It spelled death to his own nature. God died to his own self and was cut off from his own goodness. And to be cut off from the goodness of God is hell. So pure hell happened to Jesus. And being infinite, his suffering was infinite too, beyond all we can ever measure or imagine. Yet God is greater than the worst that evil can muster against him, greater than all the suffering and destruction evil can contrive. Death, therefore, could not contain him. Like an atom bomb within an egg, he exploded out. On the third day, Jesus broke out from the grave, rose from the dead, and overcame death forever. The egg was obliterated, and when you believe Jesus is raised from the dead, then everything he has achieved for you on the cross, forgiveness, restoration, and fellowship with God belongs to you by right. For For as many as received him, to them he gave the right to become children of God, to those who believe in his name. Now God is dealing with the root cause of evil, soul by soul and silently. For Jesus is alive and ready to move into your life if you believe. Once there, he does not simply give you back the love you lost at the fall. He does far more. He himself becomes that love within you. His love is shed abroad in your heart through the Holy Spirit who is given to you. And his life within your life then flows on around to all those around you. And you become a completed creature. God has become the love you lack. You are now born anew, a new creation, and yet more the person you really should have been than ever before. So having believed it, you have to act upon it. Ask Jesus to come, forgive you, and invite him into your heart without making any excuses for yourself. As time goes on, you will find you are part of a great company of us, disciples, all following Jesus, and you will learn to recognize him in them. For all the people who believe in and follow Jesus are part of the one and same reality. And God is turning back the tide of evil wherever hearts are given over to him.